a week and a half later. You know? Excuse me.
I can't hear anything. There we go.
A week and a half later. I keep hearing myself.
Yeah, my internet's going bad. What is going on, Cowboy Nation? I am apologizing because my internet is throwing things off, and so if we get some little things here and there that toss us off, but the power went out like half an hour ago, so I don't know if we're just being attacked or I think I remember paying my electric bill. So the one thing that at least that we have that's going to be consistent is, of course, GameTime Bryan, hosting the show with me, and I appreciate you, Bryan. Follow me through this off season, week by week, grind by grind, crap by crap. That this the circus ringleader is actually just drawing in the crowd. But welcome, Bryan. How you doing, man?
Primetime Phil, what up, man? I don't know, man. I'm hearing the same crap you're hearing, man. Jerry Jones is driving me up a wall. I don't know, but how's everybody doing tonight, man? I'm ready to rock. Everybody ready to go or what?
I don't know if I am. I need to disconnect something real quick. Go ahead and talk real quick because
Jack Meeker, what's up, buddy? I say here we go. Hopefully everything's good. Phil's in the island, so you know how that works. It's like, it can be sketchy at times, the internet,
Yes.
So,
yes.
I see Mike Aldana. Y'all still working on out the kinks. Listen, man, Phil's got it dialed in. I'm the one that's got the kinks in my setup. I'm just about there. I'm just about ready to rock and roll. I think tomorrow I'm going to go live for the Phil's going to help me in the morning, knock on wood. I got a couple things coming that I need. I'm going to stream the offensive lineman in the combine.
Oh, the exciting part.
James Nooks is in the house.
The sexy picks. I'm going to actually do something real quickly. I'm going to go away for a second, but it's just to make sure that we can get your chats on the screen. Hold on. No. They can't hear you right now. All right. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. That's just so I can make sure that I can get your stuff up onto the chat. And it's like, hey, everyone, all that kind of stuff. So otherwise, I wouldn't be able to link them together. So thank you guys for tuning in on that. But anyways, what a show. I mean, there's a lot of news. Obviously, we have, of course, Jerry Jones making his announcements as he's leaning back into the chair, I don't know what he's on. But
me?
he was, Jerry Jones. I'm talking about Jerry, when you saw him on that.
Dude, am I throwing you off or what? Woo-hoo. Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Jerry Jones is, he's nuts. Go ahead, Phil. I want you to lay it out, and I want you to hold the nail and do the first couple hits, and I'm going to pound it further, all right?
Yeah, unfortunately, James, I am using OBS. It is quite a bit. So I was teaching, I was teaching Bryan how to use OBS through the weekend.
James
so that was
Nooks,
interesting,
man. Damn.
So that was interesting.
Phil
but
was yelling at me. At one point, Phil was yelling at me.
I was yelling.
And I told
I'm
Phil
part
later,
Cuban.
Phil,
I'm part Cuban, man.
If you were
I talk a little louder.
If you were one of my kids, I would have,
smacked you in the back.
It would have went down. We would have had a drink afterwards, but it was going down. That shit is like a different language. Phil's like, he's
okay,
speaking.
man.
Listen. OBS is like, I just wanted to go to the bathroom in Spanish. Something easy. Phil was trying to like show me like directions, and I'm like, dude, just slow it down.
Yeah.
Let's crawl before we can walk here. But I was
I was
having
trying
an
to make him
issue with
fly.
my
I was trying to make him fly.
yeah, I was having an issue with my keyboard, and he's like, "You're not doing it." I'm like,
Oh, come
"I
on,
am
man.
doing it."
I was like, "Are you sure you're doing? You're holding the Alt button?" And you're like, "I am, man. I'm doing
Lord
it, dude."
have mercy. I'm like, I ain't
in the
dumb.
end, the Alt button was broken. So, but anyways, one thing
Anyway.
that is broken, obviously, the communication that Jerry Jones, he contradicts himself constantly. We always have these. He's saying one thing one week, to saying another thing the other week. He just wants to ride the wave. And of course, I think one thing here, you got Jack Meeker saying the Cowboys are throwing people off by not meeting with Robinson. Anyway, sorry, I like that. It's one of those situations with him. I think you're right there, really close, because the ones that they don't meet with, those are the ones sometimes that they like to draft to throw people off. Oh, we're not interested in him. But obviously he would be an amazing pickup. I will not lie. I know Bryan's been a big fan of his.
Well, listen, I understand they didn't meet with Robinson. I fully expect Robinson to go in the top 10. I don't think the Eagles will be smart. Honestly, I don't think any team will be smart to take him in the top 10. I only say that because I think the Eagles are going to need defense. But I am happy who Dallas did meet with yesterday, which was really my guy that I really want them to take. Not necessarily a 26, because I think if you want to lock him up, fine, you take him at 26. But if you drop down and get to the top of the second, Jahmyr Gibbs, they met with him, they talked to him. I'm happy about that. If we get Jahmyr Gibbs, drop down to the top of the second, you get another maybe low second or a third pick to go along with it, I'm down for that. Because me and Phil did a couple mocks, and we have more mocks coming, not tonight, but there's a lot of guys in the second and third round that we're going to miss out on because we only have the one pick. So, Jahmyr Gibbs, I'm all for it. But I have a list of other running backs I like too. But I don't know, Phil. I think we're wasting our time. It seems like they're bringing everybody back. The band is coming back together per Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous that he's throwing everything out there. We want to bring back Zeke. We want to bring back Pollard. Oh, well, we're going to talk with Leighton. Listen, shut up, dude. All right, am I with you guys? Please be quiet.
Yeah,
we know what you're going to do.
I definitely agree, because it's just even Steven. I think Steven's taken on that generation as well. Just he inherited from Jerry, where he just puts his foot in his mouth, and before even the negotiations begin, we're already making excuses why we can't do this, why we can't do that, why were we blaming our quarterback when even when his numbers were down and he wasn't being a big hit in the salary cap. We all know that there was a wide receiver by committee, and now you want to pull the same thing and be like, well, it's because of his contract. Well, no, it's because of the front office and what the circus that you guys are doing there, and you can't even get your story straight. I mean, come on, just huddle up before the day and goes, okay, what bullshit are we going to say today?
I'd rather you say nothing. I know that's weird, but I'd rather you say nothing, because just like a week ago, less than a week ago, we're hearing that there's big moves on the horizon, and now we're hearing a veteran addition. That's what we're hearing. We all know who that means. They don't want to give up any draft capital. Okay? So don't tell me that it's a big move, because that doesn't tell me that it's Diggs out of Buffalo or it's Hopkins. That tells me it's OBJ, and I don't know about you guys. That's not big to me. That's a broken down player who might have a chance to resume his career at a decent level. I'm over the talk, man. I'm over it. I'm over the talk.
Well, I mean,
shut up.
I would be excited about one of those guys being added. I don't know how much they're going to bring to it. I mean, a guy like Bobby Wagner, for example, I mean, he had even though he was on a bad defense, he still had a great career, but he is getting older. So, I mean, it just takes 1 year, then all of a sudden that production just drops off. Now, if we were to sign him, would that be the year that his production happens to drop off and then the move looks bad? So, I mean, giving up something for Ramsey? I mean, you've been hearing so many things, but again, like we've said it before, that anytime there's a free agent, there's a trade, there's a possibility of something, the Cowboys are always supposedly in the mix, and I mean, if anything, history has shown is that these guys are not in the mix. They're nowhere near the mix. They're out on the outside looking into the fishbowl and seeing everybody else and what they're doing. I mean, it's just, and they have excuses for every situation too. So it is very, very frustrating.
It is frustrating, man.
Michael Dennis says JJ gets a hard on when he talks about his own players and signs in the past. Let me pull that up there. Yeah, so I mean,
he starts talking about that glory hole and all that. So slow down, bro. You know, between him and Catboy, it's hard for us Cowboy fans. It really is. What's up, Glimmer Man?
Yeah, I mean,
JJ is looking really bad. He is done. His last interview.
And this is where he was talking about the amnesia in the sense that, like, you just got done saying how much of a big splash. The offseason is going to be different. We're not going to, you know, and we got to change some stuff. And yeah, you change some coaching staff, but then you're not, you know, you're just still focused on these players. And you kind of reverted back to the time where, remember the Cowboys for this big, huge stretch with Jason Garrett that they wouldn't release players before their time was overdue. And now you have some guys that, you know, of course we all, as Cowboy Nation, are very passionate with the love that we have for Tyron Smith. But man, dude, can we put it out to pasture already? Like, seriously, it's like...
Yeah.
Go ahead, man.
I got into it on Twitter a little bit regarding. I came out against Jerry. It was a thread that Jay Tuck put out, and I said, you know, listen, man. I hate to bring out numbers because I'm not the number guy. You know, I use my eyes, and I can tell you, you know, I don't need to see numbers. I use my eyes, but you know, the last 12 years, no team has won the Super Bowl without the running back making more than $2 million. Mm-hmm. I love Zeke. I'm not saying what to do. All I know is that this draft is stacked with three positions: tight ends, defensive backs, and running backs.
Agree.
So why can't we get a young running back? There's plenty of studs out there. If you want to add Zeke at a really diminished role, fine.
Roll in.
Or you're going to have to let Zeke go and bring Pollard back on a 1-year, $10 million deal. And I'll go along with that. I'm not going to be thrilled, but I'll go along with it for 1 year only. But the way he's talking, everybody's coming back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're having a return party. We renewed the lease. So everybody's just, you know... The only person that you probably haven't heard in that whole is Zeke. You know, is Schultz back as well? I mean, you know, we're talking about all these people back. Is Hankins back? So no, only the people that we've drafted, and those guys are going to be back because we take care of our own and we don't try to improve. And this is what I was saying. You know, with the free agents, these free agents you're bringing in or whoever you're trading for, I don't want to see them replace obviously the top guys. But I do want those bottom guys released. I want to know a Brown released because we got a receiver. I'm with a lot of Cowboy Nation. I get excited about some of these draft picks, but I understand where a lot of Cowboy Nation doesn't want another project. We already have guys on this roster that are like, oh, well, they have potential. You know, Simi Fehoko, what's he going to do? You know, what's Jalen Tolbert, what's he going to do? You know, so it's just we already have a lot of experiments within every single position. So to get some veterans, you know, we're barking up the same tree in the sense that, you know, we need veteran leadership, people that have been there, people that have, when we get to the playoffs, they understand situational football like a T.Y. Hilton was able to give to us.
Yeah, I agree. You know, and he's another guy, you know, just looking at all the free agents we have, you know, I probably would move on from T.Y. I would go out and look to upgrade. I really would. Glimmerman says it's going to get worse. JJ is going to need to die before things change. He has the same way. Luckily, he gives McClay draft picks. Yeah, and James Nooks has a good point. When Jerry Jones speaks, you have the bottle of Jack Daniels sitting next to him. Yeah, it's you know what it reminds me of, James? It reminds me of Al Davis.
I agree, Twiz.
In the latter years. The Twiz says Gibbs would be a better fit for y'all.
I definitely would agree.
John. Yeah. And Twiz, I would say the Eagles, you sit and pick at 10, and then you probably trade back with your second pick.
See,
you only have 5 total picks.
Yeah, but the
So
thing about it is, I think again, I don't want to give them credit, but in the past they've done this where they've been able to at least trade back in that first round, pick up another first rounder for the next following year.
Well,
and
you could do that.
You could do that. Still pick probably the 5th or 17th or so
But
and
the
get
way
another.
Anthony Richardson looked today, that's just going to push another good player to the Eagles at 10. Anthony Richardson very well could go in the top 10. So that would leave a good, I would say, a good defensive player for the Eagles, and then they have that late first round pick. That's prime to trade back into the second, pick up another pick, because the Eagles they only have 3 picks after the first round for the whole draft. They only have 5 total picks. So, either way, I mean, they could trade down and keep that 30th pick, or it ends up being 30 because of the Miami forfeit. But yeah, Glimmerman, it's going to get worse. Oh yeah, I already read that one. James Nooks, Glimmerman, that scares me because
Cowboys worse than Jerry.
Yeah, well, Phil already said it. Our fate lies with Charlotte Jones. So Charlotte's going to be pulling the trigger, baby. Let's go.
Is it going to be like the Los Angeles Lakers thing where you let the brother kind of like take over and he goes for a decade of just, and then she has to take over and then bam, championship. It's just,
we're going to have, I think it's Jerry Jr.'s son, the dude with the big forehead. He's going to be the one that's going to be pulling, the trigger.
He always reminds me kind of
man, his forehead is huge.
It reminds me of the Manning brother that nobody really remembers. Archie, I don't remember his.
That forehead is bad. Talk about eyebrows. Forehead.
But anyways, as I go in there, I had some running back. As we're talking about this, talking about the Zeke thing. Are we going to resign him? Okay. Now, are you at any point when you're keeping Zeke? Obviously, you got Tony Pollard coming back. Not going to be the same in that first year. When is it going to be within the year that he's going to be Tony Pollard? And is he ever going to be Tony Pollard again? I mean, nobody really knows. Doctors can't say. We can't predict anything like that. That's a total body thing. But when we look at a guy like Zeke coming back, maybe as an insurance type of thing. But if you don't bring him back under a lower cap number, it's just a stupid move. You're just wasting. I don't know. It's just you're not. I don't want to go back and ask for more money back, and I don't know. It's an embarrassment thing or what?
Yeah. Listen. I think it's all smoke and mirrors right now. They're talking about trying to work out a long deal with Tony Pollard. It just doesn't make any sense, man. How long are we going to keep making the same mistake? That's what I was saying when I was tweeting. Jay Tuck, and I had a fan reach out and say, "Oh, we need Pollard back. We can't just give up on our running backs." Listen, man, when are we going to wake up and see what's actually winning and what philosophy works? Giving running backs a second contract doesn't normally work out. At least it may for the first year or so. You know what I mean? But Pollard's not going to take anything shy. If you're threatening to, use the franchise tag now, well, you set the floor on what each year is going to be.
Yeah.
So he ain't going to take less than basically $10 million a year. He ain't going to take anything less than $35-40 million guaranteed.
Okay,
he's not.
Let's really think about this now. When you talk about like Tony Pollard, okay, so what is the alternative? You release him. You allow the league to set his value. Do you really think, coming off an ACL tear, that they're going to just pay him, and how they feel about running backs right now in this draft that's coming out? You really think Tony Pollard could go out there and get more than $10 million a year? I don't. Yeah, I agree as well.
Which is why I let him go and establish his market, and then I could decide whether I want to keep him or not.
Let's say he does get signed. Oh, you don't want to pay him to, by matching and everything like that. Don't you get a pick for that? I mean, it's just...
You do.
Yeah, so I mean, you're getting some kind of compensation. Yeah, no, and I mean, you're probably a third, fourth because of the way that he was playing and how much he was playing. So you could definitely get a quality running back with some of these guys that are in this draft.
I would tell Zeke, we're going to make you a post-June cut. Now, we could bring you back, okay? Or we could renegotiate your deal. Your choice, Zeke. But you're not coming back under your existing contract. We plan on taking and running back in the draft. and you let Pollard go out. Now, if it doesn't work out to where you've isolated 2 or 3 guys that would fit in your system, now there's literally, I wrote down just before us going live 4 guys that I would like to have. So, and I think you could have pretty much all of them in the first, within the first 3 rounds. And this is not counting the first 2. This is not counting Jahmyr Gibbs or Bijan.
Okay, well,
and we're going to get into that.
Yeah,
next,
we'll get into these guys because obviously I have some notes on each one when I was watching some stuff. But go ahead.
Well, I mean, so for us to offer, him that now, meaning Pollard, the franchise, I think is stupid. Because I think you could bring him back on a 1-year deal. He might, want to come back on a 1-year deal for like $8 million, just to enhance his next year's. I
would almost think that would be a 2-year deal, just because. I don't know how. Can he bet on this year? I mean, he doesn't even know if he's going to be healthy going into the year. To go ahead and already bet on that year. That's kind of like.
That's why I let him go out, though. I said, go out and see what market you have, and then we'll decide what we want to do. Why put in the 10.1 now? Because that's what you're going to have to pay him. You're not going to. This is all smoke and mirrors. You're not signing him long term. Let him go out.
Do you see Malik Davis as a
Yes, I do.
Viable?
Yes, he's in the mix.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I mean, when I'm looking at some of these guys, like I see when I see Robinson, for example, the type of runner I see is a nice zone runner, a guy that can he's looking for the holes and he's kind of just avoiding the tackles, and he's got an arsenal of like weapons of what he does. And he does some blocking. I mean, it's not amazing, but he does put his body out there. He's not trying to and I'm not trying to rip on Tony because we all understand the size and what Zeke brought, but that's a nice little thing to have, especially with how much pressure it seems. We're still experimenting with this offensive line. So I like Robinson. Gibbs, to me, like I just think he's a better fit. I'm with you. I think he's a better fit for what this offense is, and you wouldn't be wasting a first-round pick. Go ahead.
Yeah, I love Jahmyr Gibbs. I do. He's a little short for their liking, but so was Emmitt Smith. And how did that work out? You know what I mean? He reminds me of Emmitt as far as his feet, but
you know who reminds me of
more
Emmitt?
Explosive.
Know who, in this draft, it was Dwayne McBride, UAB. If you watch him, like I'm like I don't like always comparing people to guys like that. I mean, I guess as a Cowboy fan, I wasn't always as impressed with how Emmitt ran. But, he had an amazing line, and when he did get gathered up, he was able to break through some of those tackles, and you see a lot of that within this
Emmitt
in this
had
kid.
Awesome feet, man, and balance.
He did.
Yeah.
And so I can't take that away from him. I mean, he's the all-time leading rusher.
So, yeah, I saw a lot of that with him. I mean, just a zone downhill guy. So, I mean, there's plenty of guys in this. I mean, even Sean Tucker that I have down there, I keep bringing him up, but he's a receiving back. A guy that has, again, we're talking about moves. There's certain people that don't have it. But, again, when Bryan was talking about a lot of options within this draft with running backs, they all bring something to the table, and you can get them in the 4th, 5th, 6th round because other guys, they need. Yeah.
I mean, one of the most all-around backs in the draft is the UCLA guy, who I just now started looking at. And
I agree, Chris. Go ahead.
I'm really impressed with Zach, his Charbonnet. I don't know that they would draft Devin, out of Texas A&M, A-Chain or Aiken, however you pronounce his last name.
Oh, yeah.
Talk about explosive. Lord, he's explosive. Once he hits through the hole, which is kind of a second level.
I put down on him sneaky speed. He has very sneaky speed.
Dude, nobody catches him from behind. Yeah. And my last guy is Kendra Miller at TCU, right down the street. There's plenty of guys.
Yeah, I go Kendra Miller. I go different use of weapons. So he uses a spin, jukes, hurdles, outside speed. He can get around. I did have lacks breakaway speed. I mean, he's not going to all of a sudden just bust to the hole. But, the way that he is, if he can get you a little bit of an arm length, he's going to get past you. But he has great hands. I loved his hands as he was catching out of the backfield.
Well, I was looking at it for the West Coast type of deal.
Well,
you know?
I was also he follows his
Yeah.
blocks, and it's through thick and thin. If it doesn't succeed, he's not going to bust it out to the outside. But he was very patient, and I did like that. There was a lot more positives than there was negatives for that guy. So, but yeah, still an exciting guy to watch.
The video keeps pausing. They're saying
it could be my internet, so I apologize, guys. It is saying that it's dropping frames here and there.
sorry about that, people. Hopefully, we're good to go and we're able to get this in. But those are just some of the running backs that I'm talking about. It's like it's so deep in running back. You know, why not do that? You can keep Zeke, and let Pollard go, but you can't bring them both back. I just think you're foolish if you think that you're going to do that. You're just, and then Jerry's coming out basically saying, "Oh well, you just can't add all the talent around a quarterback like Dak." Well, you didn't add all the talent around him when Dak was younger either. You hear me, Phil?
Yeah, I can hear you. I'm just like looking at my frame.
Okay.
My frames
It
are
got
dropping.
quiet.
There's
Yeah.
just I'm just trying to get
Yeah.
it to see if I can do something on my side, but
Okay. Yeah, well, like when Dak was young, he made a point. Jerry made the point to say, "Oh, wow, we had the best O-line in the league." Yeah, you did, but you didn't go out and put all the weapons around Dak that you needed to. You were trying to cut corners. That's just the case. You went out and got Amari Cooper, and you let him go. It's very frustrating.
yeah.
It's buffering.
Yeah, it's hit and miss.
buffering.
It comes back. It's going now. It looks like it's going strong. So I don't know. It's back and forth on this. It's gotta love Comcast, man. There you go. Free advertisement for you, Comcast. But so we might, just depending on how this goes, it's just going in and out. But can you guys hear me? Okay? Are we still
Sorry
here?
about that, people. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, she's saying we're still here. I don't know that they could see it. It's cool. Sorry, Glimmer Man. Sorry, Brooklyn Joe.
Yeah.
The islands are tough out there.
They were bringing both back. Yes. But
Yeah,
there's so many things within this draft. So many weapons. I got into a lot more than that. I mean, I went pretty deep within these guys. But I just saw a lot that could be when you're looking into a Super Bowl contender, for example, like last year, the Super Bowl winners, and we were talking about their running back being a deep guy. I mean that should tell you a lot, but we don't do it like everybody else in the league, and that's in it. And it's frustrating. We hear the words, "Oh, it's going to be different this year. We're going to do stuff different," and then we go ahead and just start the blame game. We can't do this. We can't do that. And it's Dak's fault. And like, come on, man. Like the whole league does it. I mean, he's not the only one being paid. There's a lot of other quarterbacks that are being paid, and they're putting teams around him. Oh man. Can you guys hear me okay? How about you, Brian? Can you hear me okay? Oh, he's on the phone. He's on the phone. He ain't got time for that.
Yeah, I'm on the phone with Mark Holmes. Mark Holmes is just like we're talking about draft prospects. He's talking about Darnell Washington. So maybe Mark can hop on and make a couple comments. So.
Yeah, we all want to make some comments, right?
I tell you, 6'8", man, he moves. That's who I'd like in a second. All right, I'll talk to you, Mark.
He said that stupid stuff. Exactly.
Mark says hi, everybody.
Well, yeah,
Mark says hi. He's looking at Darnell Washington.
Yeah, I'm still going through
I
a
love
lot
Darnell
of guys.
Washington.
Yeah. Still going through a lot of guys. I stopped.
I'm telling you, like tight end is.
I was liking tight end. I was definitely liking tight end. There were some guys deep in that draft that I was like, I got excited about. I'm like, McCassell. There's a guy named McCassell, and you're just like, he's just a big dude that catches, and he just towers over everybody. So there is a lot of prospects in a lot of areas. But one thing I'll say, there's a couple of them that I don't get that excited about, like wide receiver. There's a lot of good wide receivers.
Not at all.
But they're all short. Usually a lot of them are shorter. And so there's only like 3 or 4 of them that are taller. We did a mock,
and Phil's like, yeah, like Phil kept saying, wow, I want this guy. And yeah, I don't mind doing mocks of who he or I would pick, but I'm kind of like, we know Dallas ain't taking a short. We already got
exactly, Mike.
Turpentine. We ain't taking another 5'10", 165. So, it is what it is. But yeah, the wide receiver group outside of the first guy, and help me out with his name, people. It's dropped. There's actually 2 guys that are projected to go in the first round. Then you have the guy who was dropping balls in the combine today out of Tennessee. He was dropping shit left and right.
Jalen Hyatt, or what is it?
Yeah, Hyatt. Yeah. So, that's all right, Mark. We've
been having internet problems.
I took a little nap myself.
See, it says that we're still...
Don't worry, man. We're going to the draft, baby. We're going to the draft. We're going to be coming live from Kansas City.
I had to run some for some drinks and stuff. But when we're talking about this draft, we get excited about the young guys. Why? Because that's all we can get excited about each year, man. We get speculations, but the speculations that's coming is always from the rest of the league, and it's the hype train that they built up just to be laughing when things don't go our way. So you'll see it all over the media. They'll talk about.
I would rather.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I would rather bring in a bunch of young guys, Phil, and then go out and get 1 or 2 blue chip free agents or trades.
Yes, blue chip.
Yeah, most likely a trade. Just like stack up on the young boys. Don't bring back the older guys who are average. We can sit there and run down the list, but you guys know the free agents. Jason Peters, thank you for your time. If you want to come back on the cheap and play swing tackle as a backup, then fine. Tyron, see you later. Zeke, you got to go. Pollard, wish you well. Go out and get young guys in the positions that are already proven that you could come in, hit the ground running as a rookie. Not at receiver. Receiver's the last position you want to rely on somebody unless it's a Jamar Chase or CeeDee Lamb even had a so-so first year. For a rookie, it was good, but it wasn't Pro Bowl level.
No. There was a lot of drop passes.
Yeah. It's hard. So I'm just shocked of what's coming out of their mouth. I hope they're just spewing, throwing out clouds and smoke signals just to kind of confuse everybody else. Because if they plan on bringing everybody back, that don't bode well for us Cowboy fans. It just don't. And I got another thing for you. If we don't bring Bobby Wagner in here, you're a fool. You could get him signed to a 3-year deal, $12 million guaranteed. Basically pay him $6 million a year. That third year can be all voidable. You'll have some dead money. Basically pay him $6 million a year. He'll take that today, and I'll take that for a short-term deal with our young linebackers that we have, and we could, we're going to draft another one this year, and then you could let Van Der Esch go, because we've already talked about it. We don't Jordan Addison. Thanks, Brooklyn Joe.
Yeah, he likes Buffalo. I mean, he can like it all he wants. Buffalo's towards the back.
Yeah, hey, listen, he can go to Buffalo as long as we get Diggs, right, Brooklyn Joe? Right? I'm down.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to last that long.
Because they got Gabe Davis. They have a lot of receivers. If they were smart, they would get rid of Diggs, because Diggs is going to make it ugly there.
Yeah, I mean, he was very upset during that playoff game. I mean, again, you can't go off of the last thing because they could have made up for. But it was I like that Trayvon was at least giving that push. Hey, let's get behind this whole thing,
right.
Making it known what he wanted. Don't be afraid to do it, man. Even with Parsons, when they go out and try these, it doesn't hurt to give it a shot. Say, hey, man, you're definitely welcome here. But I do like the fact that if it's not going to happen, they just move on. We're not going to get dwelled into it. We don't want to keep talking about the subject. We either they're here or they're not here, and so that's where I hear a lot of these guys, complain. Oh, I guess that's the end of this. Well, until it happens, I don't really jump on it. I mean, obviously, I liked the idea of Odell coming to us last year because we needed something. I'm not totally excited, but I like it because
we saw what happened in the playoffs.
I like it because he gets separation.
Yeah, I like it because he gets separation. We need guys that get separation. That's why I like T.Y. Hilton's whole thing. But it's just the other guys. Can the other guys take a step forward? But if you don't have all that veteran leadership, I mean, they're not going to learn a whole lot. And I think maybe that's the coaching staff changed a little bit. But the wide receiver coaches stayed the same, correct? I don't think that changed.
Yeah, well, Glimmerman keeps slamming my dreams, man. He's saying Wagner not going to happen. LVE. I don't mind LVE, but LVE's not going to take a 1-year deal this year. His market, with the money that's available to teams this year, he's going to get a multi-year deal.
Same as Chicago Bear or something,
So Bobby Wagner has come out and said Dallas was his first choice last year, but he had to go with the money and the Rams because Dallas, like they do, would lowball them. And what did he do? He went out and made a Pro Bowl, had 6 sacks, like a couple...
And wasted another year on his
2
career.
interceptions, and a partridge in a pear tree. Yeah. I mean, he's 32 years old, so you can get him on a short deal, give him $6 million a year, draft another linebacker, man. Me and Phil rattled off a few linebackers that we really liked in rounds 4 and 5, like Overshown.
I like Overshown.
Ivan Pace out of Cincinnati. I mean, these are guys that are sideline to sideline athletic guys that are raw, but that's what you get at that point.
Where do you think a guy like Noah Sewell will go? Do you think he'll be a second or third rounder?
Probably a 3rd round pick, and I'm good with that too. I mean, I was on board with taking the linebacker that the Chiefs took this year. And look, he went to a Super Bowl. He looked pretty good. Help me out with the name, people. I'm not.
You're
really
talking
good,
about Nick Bolton.
Nick Bolton, good call. Nick Bolton. He's a little short, but
I like Nick Bolton going into that draft.
Nick Bolton, he's a sideline to sideline guy. So rumors are rumors for a reason, Mike. Yeah, I get it. And Dallas just our management just feeds into it and throws more out there. I hope it's a smokescreen. If not, then our future is not good with this front office, man. Thank God Will McClay and Dan Quinn are at the combine. That's the only thing I could say. But as far as adding, veteran pieces that are big time, I don't see it happening.
Would you continue to build it? Would you just take best player available? Would you fill positions, or would you focus on more of one side of the ball? Would you go defense, offense? What would you do in this draft?
Well, worst case scenario
obviously free agency
here,
matters.
If we're bringing back Zeke and Pollard, let's just hypothetically say that what they're saying is true, and they're both coming back. Well, then I'm all on board of just making that defense that much better. Under one caveat, you got to go out and get a tight end at some point to go along with Ferguson and Hendershot, and you're going to need to bring in a guard or some kind of. There's a few. You got Schmitz out of Minnesota, who could be a center/guard, which they love. Position flex, so you could draft him and put him at guard, and then you'll have your backup center. He's literally the best center in the draft until. Biotish is up for contract. See how that works out. If it doesn't work out, see you later. Schmitz slides over. I would be okay with that. But D-Hop before OBJ. Brooklyn, Joe, you speak my language. Yes, I'm all on board with Hopkins.
Yeah, I would not be against that. With D. Hopkins having this the whole thing with Arizona, you don't know even with the coaching. Right now, could you get it for a 2nd round draft pick? Would you, if you had to give away that 26th pick, would you be okay with that?
Not for Hopkins, no.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
No.
So we're getting Diggs.
That would only be a Diggs deal.
Well, Diggs would call for probably like more than one first rounder. Probably.
Diggs would be the only. No, Diggs wouldn't get more than a first. He would get a 1st round pick.
You don't
maybe
think,
a late round.
I was gonna say maybe first or third.
Round.
Maybe
he owns all the cards. He could say, I'm not sure if he has a no trade or not. So that's a good question. But that would be one of those situations where he goes behind the scenes and says, I want to go play with my brother,
Chris.
And I'll make it ugly to go anywhere else but to Dallas. also. It would be up to Dallas to step up and give him the second. Knowing Dallas, they would know that and try and force it too, and then Buffalo would say no. Which I would say no also.
Yeah, I heard you guys talking the other day about the whole possible trading for Amari Cooper and Zeke. I was like, that has got to be the stupidest thing if you were to ever make that move.
What's that?
When there was a quick news thing that it was fake news, but they were talking about Amari Cooper being that person, and I was like, that would be the stupidest thing. If you're not getting a
counterpoint, we were on there. Mark, I sent Mark a clip from Space Cowboy, and here it ended up being a joke. But don't think that he's going to be available. But why? And Mark is willing to give up a 2 to get him. I'm like, are you nuts? We gave up a 5. As a Cowboy fan, I can't deal with that heat.
Nope.
That would be ridiculous. The backlash. We traded for a 5 and then a year later.
Yeah, we gave Amari Cooper to the pawn shop, and then they charged us more when we got it back. I was like, man. Like that's how it is. It's just a terrible whole transaction then by that point. It just it wouldn't make any kind of sense.
And Mark's like, you're telling me you wouldn't take him. I said, I'll take Diggs, I'll take Hopkins. I'll even take Ramsey.
I don't take him.
Bringing Amari back.
I don't take him, but it has nothing to do with his skill set. It's just the whole concept of it. It's like
no, hell no. It's like being re-gifted a gift for Christmas the following year.
Didn't I give this to you? And I gave it to you.
Like they take one of your toys that you haven't really played with a lot and rewrap it and act like it's something new and shiny. No. You're not doing that. Sorry, you got to go. Don't bring me Amari Cooper.
Would you be willing to do some stuff to get a guy like Ramsey to put him the opposite of Diggs?
Well, Ramsey's a different story, man. I'm hearing a lot of stupid comments regarding his demise. Make no mistake, people. Ramsey is a top 5 corner in this league now.
Would you think he would want to come even with what happened with the draft? I think.
Yes, he would. He's not stupid. He would come. It would cost our 2nd round pick. So, and you'd have to re-sign him for high money. Yeah. So that's up to you. These are the choices that we could make, assuming we don't re-sign people for $10 million a year when you could go draft a young, faster, more explosive guy with no question marks. After a broken leg and ligament damage. I'm not trying to be mean, but we have to be realistic, people. Let's be smart about it. What's the one position that we could get right now, hit the ground running and be explosive? Running back. It makes too much sense. That's why I don't know why they're talking. Blue Virus, what up, man? How you been?
I haven't seen him in a while.
You've been with I haven't seen him in a while. I heard he was with Aaron Rodgers in the Oregon cave.
And I want to wish Joe Gonzalez a get well. I mean, she had an accident where she hit her head, and so she's kind of recovering. So, Joe, we miss you here.
JoJo. But I was wondering where you've been, JoJo.
Yeah, and so I just want to extend that out and just wish her the best, and hopefully she gets better soon. And hope, we miss you here. We definitely miss you. So if you're watching on the playback, give us a comment and let us know you're okay. But yeah, Trayvon will go apeshit if Ramsey comes here and makes it more than him. I could definitely see that. I think that would be the only reason why I wouldn't want to go for a Ramsey is because you have Trayvon in the wings that you have to pay. You still have to pay Micah Parsons when he comes up soon. You got CeeDee Lamb. Those are the guys that I want to bring back. I don't want to bring back the ifs. I want to bring back the guys that I know are key points to our defense, our offense. Not guys that were like, well, if they negotiate and the pie's right and if the offense and Dak's not being very friendly to everybody else. He took his ball and went home. Like it's just the blame game, man. I think I saw
it is a blame game.
You'll see, what happens when Micah Parsons' contract comes up. Are we going to badmouth him about any of the stuff that he was doing? Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, I don't like their negotiation status because the first thing they're going to say about Diggs in that negotiation. And they'll wait until now. If I was Diggs, I would hold out this year. If you can't give me a contract this offseason, then screw you. That's how I would be, which is why I would go out and get Stephon Diggs. Bring his brother in the fold now or in the draft. You bring him in the fold, and that'll bring some goodwill between you and Trayvon. It just makes too much sense, you know. But that being said, you have to earmark guys you have to bring back, and that's Micah Parsons, that's CeeDee Lamb, and that's Trayvon Diggs. Those 3 guys are coming up in any particular. No, I would say Parsons will be last in that order based on he was the first round pick and he's the youngest of the bunch. So, you know, I think CD you'll get back. I don't think he's going to give you too much of a problem, but Diggs is going to be an issue. You cannot wait. Why are we waiting until the player has all the leverage? I'll never know. I'll never know that. I don't understand the strategy of them. You watch, the Eagles will somehow re-sign all of their guys, and they'll be like, oh, look, you know, they did it. You could do it, people. You could do it. You have to earmark those guys, and then you let go, or, you know, and then you go to Zeke or Pollard and go, listen, we have to have these guys back. This is what we have for you. Are you willing to take it?
Yeah, I got it. A blue virus says, "What's up, guys? It's been super busy in my life. I've been watching your guys' videos. I appreciate it. You're my boy, Blue." I had to cue it up. You're my boy, Blue.
I got that one too, man.
No, I didn't even do it. I just had to go find it right now because I hadn't seen Blue Virus in a long time. So, but no, I'm right with you. It's just the same. It's the same acrobatic crap. The circus has come back into town. It's the off-season circus. Are we going to buy the tickets and sit in line and just be disappointed when the show is not as great as we want it to be? And then when they finally feed us something, it's just the clowns coming out of the car. You know, it's a
clown show right now, in our front office. And the only good thing, Phil, is that we got Dan Quinn and Will McClay there. That's the only good thing we have. Did you know that they're gonna present Catboy with the right players to talk about when it's our pick in the draft? But that's not enough. You saw what happened. You saw the Niners go out and make a huge move, bringing in the running back out of Carolina, McCaffrey. That's a huge move. Yeah, I understand, but they lost they were down to their 4th, starting quarterback. Look what the Eagles did. They made move after move after move. Okay, so what are you going to be, Dallas? You're trying to reinvent the wheel and do it your way. You're not going to do it. You're going to come up short every year by just drafting or trying to take the junk pile or it's like going to Ross, and nothing against Ross or all these other department stores where you walk and you can get secondhand clothing, but we're trying to go out and revive a second-hand player that's been discarded, and that's our big move. Mm-hmm. I got news for you, Jerry. OBJ is not a big move, so don't act like it is. And that's why I was upset at our reporters not being a little more critical in that interview, saying, well, hold up. Just to let you know, Jerry, if you think bringing in Odell Beckham is a big move, that's going to be a big flop as far as public relations go. That's just a fact. Yeah. Will he help? Sure, he'll help, but he ain't a needle mover.
Yeah, I mean, if you're if you're giving me OBJ instead of bringing back Noah Brown, hey, I'm excited about it. Exactly. But I'm not excited if he's also bringing in like 12, 13 million a year. Where's the market right there? Where's the value? How long is the contract? There's a lot of things that come with that. Is it just incentive based? He has to hit 1,000 yards. He has to get so many touchdowns. I'm all excited about that then because, he has the potential, and now you have to produce in order to get something. And okay, maybe he can get something somewhere else better. But, when it comes to what we need, it's just – I think Cowboy Nations, we understand that. It's just that front office. I think that's where our frustrations lie. It's just it's the same crap. And because it's a family-ran business, you don't have the fear of being fired. I mean, the people act different. They make different decisions when all of a sudden you have the chance of not being here the next day. So that's just not happening.
Yeah. Did you guys see the...
Go ahead.
Did you see that I sent this to Mark Holmes earlier. He must have been sleeping because I didn't see him do a video. He's good for one video an hour. Did you see that we offered a? You see that we offered a tender to
second
a
round
player
tender
today?
to Steele, right?
Yeah. Which is
That's
actually
not bad.
smart.
Yeah, I like it. I kind of was thinking, leaning that they were probably going to go a first rounder on it, but I'm not disappointed as well in the second pick. Second round pick. He's coming off of obviously a big injury, so you don't want to invest that much. You don't know if anybody's going to bite on that, but at least you have the chance to match it. And if so I do like the value that they placed on it. So and it's very understandable why. What do you think? Do you think that was a good move?
Yeah, it was, because they can match it like an offer out there. If he goes out and gets a huge offer, they could decide to match, or they could take the comp hit. They can take what you get. And there's me and Phil. I mean, we picked the right tackle out of who was it? Out of Alabama.
Yeah,
6'8". I mean,
there's a lot of controversy there, but that's a different kind of controversy.
Well, it was a different type of if he's coming in, offensive lineman, not so much guard after the first couple rounds, but there's plenty of tackles in this draft.
So
I'm excited to go young, man.
Chris asks a question. It says a little controversial to the home plate, but it's a discount deal cap wise, or let number 6 go, but 12-14 for a number 3 safety is smart in my opinion. What do you guys think? Is being that the third safety. I love the way Donovan Wilson has been playing the past 2 years.
Yeah, I want him back.
He was always on my radar the first 2 years before that, but he was always injured, and so I think I'm just a little bit. I'm a little bit cautious about trying to give him too much money when he hasn't shown a lot of health thing. I mean, again, he played like crazy this year. He's slinging his body around. That's the reason why he gets hurt, is because he doesn't have a fear about hitting people. And so I wouldn't be against bringing him back, but I don't like it unless you're releasing a guy like Hooker maybe, and you're so you can bring in Bell. If you're saving money somewhere else to give it to him, then I'm okay with that. But I really think he could be leaving too.
I would think they want him back, and that's why I said there's a lot that needs to be done, and on the list down the line is your running backs. That's why I'm shocked what I'm hearing. I don't understand, and then I'm hearing that they want him back too. So I would sit down as an organization. We don't know who they really plan on bringing back. They're just throwing crap against the wall to muddle everything up, it seems like. But I would try and offer him a deal. But once he gets to free agency, we're not going to be, we're not going to be a
Miami Dolphin by the time you know it.
We're not going to be able to give him what a team like Jacksonville, or a team who could just throw. Remember, we lost back in the lost. Who was our safety that left and went
Byron
to Jacksonville?
Jones. Oh no, you're thinking Jacksonville. Jacksonville.
You know what I'm talking about. Barry Church.
Yeah.
And he got a lot of money, and he had a decent few years with Jacksonville, because teams have to, get to a ceiling. A floor of the salary cap. So there's going to be teams with money that are going to have to get, and why not give it to a guy who's young and who hits like hell, like number 6. So Donovan Wilson, I'd love to have back, but it's got to be a team-friendly deal.
And I just don't, and I don't blame him for not wanting to take that team-friendly deal, because he does have value right now. He was just, how many sacks did he have through the season? I mean, he was just constantly in the backfield, it seemed like. I don't remember him playing actually safety. I think he was playing running back or something for the other team, because he always seemed to be in that backfield. And so he was definitely wreaking some havoc. But was that because of Dan Quinn and utilizing him? But then again, hey, Dan Quinn was showing if you use this guy right, he can be a hell of a weapon. So it's got to be a little bit of mixture of both. So
I think he can be replaced easier than a lot of other positions.
I agree.
In the box safety, a guy who can make tackles. I want him back, but it has to be a good deal, and that's it. But just remember, people, we can't be upset at anybody who leaves for the money, because this.
Except for Schultz.
Well, Schultz is gone. Bye-bye. He gone. Yeah, but you can't blame these guys, man. Their window to make money is so short, and you saw with the the Buffalo kid who got hurt,
Yeah.
almost died on the field, man. And, DeMar,
Hamlin.
you know what I mean? Things. I don't blame these guys for going down and getting the money. So
No, I don't
you can
either.
offer them whatever you can offer them and say, you want to star on your helmet or no?
Yeah, there were times where I questioned stuff, and obviously younger, not understanding the whole business. That yes, you got to take the money when you can because these teams can just drop you.
Show me the money.
And you have to, you got to be selfish. Sometimes some of these guys definitely have to be selfish. That's where I felt with the whole Zeke when he was holding out at that time. But again, right now Zeke just doesn't show that value.
You see how fast it all goes away, especially for a running back.
Mm-hmm.
You see that. So I don't blame Zeke. Nothing against Zeke. It's you can't bring everybody back. That's just the way it works. That's why I'm trying to maximize our money. But right now, we got so many issues that we're gonna have to see how it plays out, people.
Yeah,
we're gonna know soon. Yeah, I think we're gonna know real soon.
The ones that keep talking is our biggest issues, and we're just not going to get rid of that headache. There's no good offseason by that's just going to go away, that they're going to shut their mouth and just kind of let the play on the field do it and let the players actually do the talking. But no, we have to be in the media the whole time. And
right.
And yeah, I mean, you don't know what the strategy is because their strategy has always been everywhere. But I do like what Mark McCarthy has been able to do. I think that's my ground. McClay, you feel better. You feel better about the draft because of McClay sitting there. You feel better about the defense because Dan Quinn is sitting there. So there's people in play to kind of counter what the front office is doing. But again, if they're we're not getting any weapons around anybody, well, that's your job, man. That's not Dak's job. Dak is, I think DeMarcus Lawrence said it. That's not my concern. My concern is to make sure that I'm, appreciated in my value. I went out and got my money. I'm putting up and kind of shutting up. Obviously, he didn't push it all the way. He was having a terrible season last year, and we can point out to a lot of areas, whether it's the weapons that you put around him not, the quarterback coach that you may have had before, like a Kitna that was working on more of his footsteps and how he was, he's bringing that, how many times was Dak throwing off his back foot, or he was bringing his foot off the ground, and there was a lot of within his football work that wasn't there. So I think just going back to basics with him. But again, $40+ million, you can't blame it like that because this is the first year that's really going to come into play. So sorry about my little rant there, Brian.
No, man. You speak the truth, man. I was getting a little excited listening to you. No, I agree. I agree with everything you said, man. Just reading the chat.
Yeah, so Elliott held out for 2 years early. That was JJ's fault. Let him go then, and we would have had a newer running back. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't be big chunks. I think that you're right there with Tyron Smith. What's going to happen there? Is he going? He wants to play for the Cowboys, but is it one of those things that he wants to play so bad that he'll take less money because he's already made quite a bit of money through his career for the Cowboys? And how many games in the past 3 years has he actually played? 3 to 4 years. I mean, it's not very much. It's not even a season's worth. He gives that whole thread of, well, if I get let go or something happens, I'm going to retire. Well, okay. I'm sorry. I love Dez Bryant. I love these guys as well, too. But when they come out every year like a Terrell Owens and they're going, well, I'm deciding not to going to play this year. Well, it's because nobody invited you, dude.
Yeah, right.
So, I know that's a little bit harsh.
You shut your mouth off one too many times, and people are tired of your act.
Yeah, it's got to be worth the headache. Is your production worth the headache? And a lot of these guys are starting to come. Their mouths are becoming too big for their ability. D-Law is like Elliott. He pushed, but the D-Law held back a surgery to get paid. Was rude. I didn't like that move as well. I remember that whole thing. I'm not getting my surgery until I gotten paid. And I was just like, whoa. But again, we had the leverage to just be like, look, man, just do your thing then. I mean, has D-Law, Brian, to you, sorry, has D-Law ever lived up to the actual money that he's been making?
No. Probably not, but he's a leader,
he's a
right? Great player.
Yeah.
I
love his leadership.
Player.
Yeah, I love when he talks.
Chris Killen's last comment too when you get a chance.
Okay.
Can you guys tell me what you think about this? Move Tyrone back to left tackle. I like it. Steele re-signed at right tackle. Okay. 63, 70, and 73 at left guard is the best 5. Let's see. 63, 70. Who's 70?
I don't think Steele's leaving. I mean, not Steele. I don't think that.
Oh, yeah. What am I talking about?
Tyler Smith is leaving left tackle. So my whole thing is, are we bringing McGovern back? Because if we're not,
but that's what they're talking about. Because he guess what they're saying. Chris is saying here. Sorry, Chris. That's what they were saying. She was saying that you got the right tackle, of course. It was Steele. You got the left tackle. Then you have Tyler Smith, Tyler Biotish, and then Zach Martin, of course. I like that. I like that. But how long until Tyron Smith f's that up?
I'm hearing whispers of Tyron Smith playing left guard.
That is weird. I don't like that.
I don't like it either, but I don't like him at left tackle either. He's definitely taken a step back. But if you're telling me that Tyler's going to go into left guard for one more year and have Tyron play left tackle until he gets hurt, probably game 3, then I'm fine with it. We still need to go out and get another young guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we like Matt Willetsko, but he's more of a tackle. He's not a guard.
No, they're too big. I mean, he's going to be in Dak's way. It's just he's not going to be able to see down.
Josh Ball's got to go.
Oh my God, yeah, I haven't dealt with that. Oh.
Alarcone, is he a guard? Is he a tackle?
I like it. I think he's a guard. I would be okay with keeping him. I just want to see him in actual games. I mean, if he's going to get destroyed, let's see it.
He needs to play.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I agree.
I think we have some other options. But Josh Ball, and I know we're late in the game to be talking about this, but we have a lot of guys who are not playing but are draft picks. All right, at some point you got to admit that they're not very good, and we got to move on. Mm-hmm. We got to find out if Semi Fehoko can play. If he can't, then we need to release him in training camp. There's a lot of those type of moves. Jabril Cox, is he going to be able to play linebacker? We don't need to have a guy like him just for special teams. Is he not good enough to play? Well, then we're going to have to move on. We got way too many of these guys, so.
And I think that's the only problem with, I like a lot of these guys, but that's the problem when you're building your whole team through a draft. You obviously get a lot, but you have a lot of project guys too, because you have to swing for the fences and hoping that you're hitting home runs with some of these guys, and maybe a double or triple with some of the other positions. But either way, you're swinging for possibilities. I mean, it's just like the same thing that we saw. We see those wide receivers, 2 wide receivers sitting there, very young. You bring up Simi Fehoko, but obviously Tolbert from the first year.
Tolbert, he's going to be on the team this year.
Yeah, just because they need to give it a shot. They don't want to waste the pick, and I think that's what you have with Kelvin Joseph as well. I think that's another guy that we have not talked about in this offseason, and unfortunately you have to shoot him. You got to keep him on this lineup because why? What are you going to do with Anthony Brown? What are you going to do with Jordan Lewis? Are you going to let Anthony Brown test the market?
They're both gone as far as I'm concerned. They're both gone.
I would think so.
But you can't bring back Anthony Brown. He's coming off of a Achilles tear. Sorry, Anthony. You can't bring him back. Jordan Lewis, a broken foot?
It was it. Yeah,
or a knee?
It was. I think it was the foot. I think it was foot.
Yeah, I thought it was a broken foot, almost like a.
The top bone,
like fifth metatarsal type of deal. I don't know, but okay, if you want to bring him back, he's not making that much. You could save almost $4 million by cutting him. Whatever. I mean,
but where are you putting that $4 million? I mean, that's my question. And where are you going to take that $4 million?
Exactly. All that adds up, man. And like Kelvin Joseph, he's going to be on the team because I have already told you that we're going to let go is C.J. Goodwin.
I think finally. I love C.J. Goodwin. I loved him in his career.
Kelvin Joseph is a dynamic special teams player, and this is his last year to prove whether he can play on defense. If not, this will be his last year. So that's what we're looking at, people. It should be interesting.
That's still an interesting offseason.
I
think even last year, we didn't have any kind of news, and we didn't have any. I guess there wasn't as much, in the sense of people going to be possibly testing free agency. Questions about the running back. We all kind of knew that Zeke was going to be here. There was always suggestions, but we knew because of the dead money that wasn't going to happen. And we knew Tony Pollard was going to be there. we got tagged very early with Dalton Schultz, so we didn't even get to ride that wave of, hey man, there's a possibility that we might actually grow from this offseason. But when you get a guy like Hendershot and Ferguson that's bringing in, it definitely makes you very hopeful for the future. And you just need to get complementary guys to go along with those tight ends. And yeah, it's just, you don't need a franchise tag to tight end. I mean, it's just they use that franchise tag just. Just too willy-nilly. I guess that's going to be the word that I'm going to use, because they're already talking about, oh yeah, we're going to use it. Well, why? Because we haven't been able to figure out a long-term deal with.
They get like an itchy trigger finger. They get all like nervous, man. Like like when you're a kid and you're ready to go on a roller coaster that you're scared about. You get all giddy and just shut up, man. We don't have to use it. To me, it's a last resort. They use it as a bargaining tool. Let Pollard go and see what deal he could get. There you go.
Yeah.
Is he that? It's just they don't make any sense to me, people.
Are you letting?
They don't make any sense.
And Cooper Rush, I think that's another one we got to talk about just for at least a moment. You got him possibly leaving. I'm going to think, if anything, San Diego is going to be the place where he's going to end up signing with Kellen Moore over there. But do you think they go for a veteran type of backup? Do you go with Will Grier and that's already on the roster? Do you get a rookie quarterback in this draft? I mean, there's so many things that they could do with that, but where would you feel more comfortable?
I would draft a quarterback in this draft. If we're not going to trade our first round pick, I'm on board with trading down, but who knows if that'll happen. But it'll be interesting because my favorite quarterback in this draft, outside of the first round guys, is Hendon Hooker.
I love Hendon Hooker.
I really like. I mean, who don't like? No, I can't say.
He's coming off of injury. He's coming off of a pretty big injury.
Don't like a good hooker, right? No, I'm joking. But I'm pumped. But yeah, so I like Hendon Hooker. If they take Hendon Hooker, then I got news. I don't know that I want to re-sign Dak long term. He's a starter in this league. So, but if not, there's guys down the road. I would definitely draft one at some point.
Yeah.
Do not re-sign our backup, and we got Will Grier who's going to be our backup, and he can compete with the new guy.
Yep,
that's where I would go.
I'm definitely behind you on that. What do you guys think? What's the chat think? What would you guys do with that backup quarterback? Would you go ahead and just go, okay, let's not even think about it. Let's put Will Grier in there, and then we'll worry about every other position? Are you guys, liking some quarterback in this draft? Are you liking a late guy like Aiden from Purdue, I think it is? There's some guys.
Aiden, what's his last name? Remember, we drafted him a couple times in our mocks.
Yeah.
We kept picking him up. Aiden. It's not Richardson, is it?
It was something like that.
Aiden Richardson, I think.
I thought it was O'Connell or something like that.
Oh, O'Connell. That's it. Bam, you got it. Aiden O'Connell.
Okay. But they're I feel bad now. I just because we were just talking about him, but
he's good. I can't remember his name.
But I was so in awe of his throw that I just forgot that he had a name. I was just like, I was going to call him QB2. That's all it was.
I would definitely go with a young guy. If we got to take the redhead out of TCU in round 7 or a free agent, whatever. I don't care.
So Jack says, he goes, I'd love a corner at 26, a wide receiver in the 2nd, and a D-tackle in the 3rd. I don't mind any of those positions in any of those orders. Wide receiver probably I feel a little bit less, but if you're getting a great wide receiver and you can't pass him up because he slipped in the draft like a CD Lamb, then I am okay with that. Defensive tackle, we were doing our mock draft. We had a defensive tackles that kind of slipped to us, and you're just like, whoa, your mouth is watering just because of the possibility, and it's just a big glaring weakness that we have within this defense. I mean, Hankins was able to plug in a lot of that stuff, but
I'd like to bring Hankins back. This all goes into, Jerry's good to say, well, by letting Amari Cooper go, that's going to allow us to keep Zeke. Just shut up, Jerry. It don't make any sense what you're talking about, man. By re-signing Zeke, you're not going to be able to keep Hankins, and you're not going to be able to keep other guys that you might want to keep.
He says some random shit
sometimes. It goes both ways. Hey, Rhonda, how are you?
Rhonda!
Thanks for joining the show.
Girl has some nice cooking on her channel as well. Oh, that's always looks good. Always looks good.
But yeah,
so
but one thing that
it'll be
we're
interesting to
cooking is
see.
this off season. It's on a simmer. Is it on a simmer more because nothing's really happening? What we got a possibility of tagging next week? Is it next Tuesday that we can?
Yeah,
that
well,
we
the
can
deadline's
tag?
coming up. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, they always
Yep.
like to wait to that last possible second. That's just how the Cowboys have always been. We can't figure out a deal, but then when you ask them, they have their hands in their pocket, just kind of like, yeah, I mean, well, if we could, and it just it just never feels
Yeah,
secure.
right now they're on the bus, just running their mouth, acting like they're all that. Hey, I got news for you. Did you see the ratings, Jerry? You're not number one as far as overall in facilities. You're rated up there, but the Minnesota Vikings were rated best among the players as far as facilities, travel, food,
Well, I mean,
like
even
the
some of these
training
things where
staff.
he was number one, we had the stadium, and now there's like two other stadiums that they built on, that makes him look not as great. So it's
We don't fly our guys first class. I mean, and we charge our guys for lunch every week. So think about that. Think
but
about that. We actually charge them, to have lunch made. That's embarrassing. I was at the Star in June, and they said, "Oh yeah, each player is billed X amount of dollars a week, $100 and some dollars a week or something out of their paycheck for meals." Okay, Jerry, you're really gonna charge your players for meals? Okay, nice. Thanks, buddy.
always there to surprise you, man. Right when you think they can't. Well, that's how the rich stay rich, right? So
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly right. They're renting out the draft room for kids birthday parties and sleepovers.
yeah, you have like a Chuck E. Cheese type thing going on over there.
Yeah. So now when I watch a draft this year, I'm just gonna picture like a 5-year-old kid, sitting in the head seat.
So as we watched the combine this week, I think everybody was kind of jumped in there. We put the bigger guys we put first. So because everybody's watching the wide receivers, DBs that are the running backs and stuff, that he put them afterwards because we were just aching for some football. So people were just watching. What do you think about the combine? Are you a big combine guy? Yeah. Do you like it just because it's football, or do you really put your faith in those numbers that you see?
I love the combine. I love the combine because I do my research on the players on paper, but it's nice to see them actually out running. Listen, it's the underwear Olympics. You take a guy whose the tape is below average and go, oh my God. Do you guys remember Twiz? I brought this up the other day with Mark. Eagles drafted a defensive lineman at a Boston college years ago. I can't think of his name right now. I called it the other day, but he had a great combine and he had a horrible career.
Yeah.
So
a lot of them trained for the combine. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to look and know that it's a good.
Trust the tape. Trust the tape.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's good to see them and how they are. It just adds to it. So let's just keep it for what it is. But I do enjoy watching it. I'm not one that's going to watch it wire to wire, but I was watching earlier. It was exciting because I would think we would go out and get a tight end this year to replace Schultz. I understand we got two young ones. One's really raw, and Ferguson started stepping up. But in our offense in the West Coast, you need tight ends.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's why I'm okay. You got a lot of tight ends. You can get one.
That's it, Twiz.
Mike Mamula. There you go, man. Look at that. That's what I'm saying. The brain power that's in this chat, the conversations that come on, I love it.
Dude, he's already got a big head. We're stopping by West Virginia to hang out.
Oh, look at that. Eastside Herald is in the building. What's up? Welcome, Eastside.
The champ is here.
He's making his rounds in all the YouTube, making sure Cowboy fans don't get too excited and just stomps it. And then you have to remind him that he's a Houston fan.
Right?
But no, it's great to see you. Of course, you're always welcome here, Eastside. That's funny, man. It's great to have you back.
We're an equal opportunity channel here. We just, as long as you mind your manners.
Yeah, we're always about the crap talking as well too. So we don't mind that. That's what football is.
You can talk crap, but just
be realistic about your crap as well, right? So that's the whole blowing out. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of times that those comments are just like, oh, okay, let's be a little bit more realistic. But again, let's be a little bit more realistic. That should be the theme of this Cowboys head
When we listen to Jerry, I think I take more into what Mike McCarthy says about this team. The path. I don't like what Mike McCarthy said this past week about the whole, Kellen likes to score more points, and he was always trying to do that. But I'm not going to attack what Mike McCarthy says either. I mean, I understand what he is saying. Our defense got tired at times because the offense was going 3 and out because you're just trying to do your trick plays, and it's just an efficient offense. I think I can't put it all on Kellen Moore it was just him and his amazing offense and his razzle-dazzle that he was doing, and he whipped out the play of annexation of Puerto Rico. And no, man, it wasn't that. It was the offense that was Yes, we don't have amazing weapons, but do you feel like you could trust Gallup at some point? Do you feel like you could trust some of these weapons? I felt that way. It was more of can we block all the time for Dak? Can Dak make better decisions than just not seeing that zone guy? It's always moments that they kind of lapse, and it has nothing to do with the play. So I just don't follow the whole Kellen Moore was just brainchild, but hey, good luck to him again over there. I mean, he's not within a bad offense. That offense was, they weren't putting the great numbers up in the sense of the victories, but they still were a great offense. So for him to jump in there, and if they do the same thing, everybody's going to say, "Oh, Dallas made a mistake." So I'm sorry, I'm already jumping way ahead into the next season.
Yeah, Jack Meeker. Yeah. He says, Mike likes a fullback. Well, me and Mark Holmes went at it. We went back and forth with counterpoint regarding keeping Zeke. And Mark Holmes wants to put Zeke at fullback. Now, I don't know about that, but, hey.
I understand, though. I understand what he's talking about, because if anybody in our backfield type guy was going to do that, it would be Zeke.
It would be him. I agree.
Yeah, so I totally understand. I just don't think him, knowing that he wants to prolong his career and some of the decisions that he was making in general, I just don't think that's something that he wants to put himself through. So, I mean, just like a Zach Martin, can he just deny, nope, not going to move, I'm just going to be myself, So is that what kind of situation ends up happening? Hendershot at fullback. Yeah, I mean, Hendershot's a wiry guy. So is he going to stop some big guys? Yeah. That's why you were seeing a lot of those guys like McGovern back there. Maybe that's where you see Aldencon. You bring him, and maybe he can get downhill and use his body. It's like maybe he doesn't have. I just haven't seen enough of him in the offseason to know if he has great hands or his hands are getting better. Or of course everybody's going to get beat, but if you don't get a whole lot of playing time, it's understandable why you're getting beat.
Yeah, I want to talk more about the annexation of Puerto Rico. That's really what I want.
Well, we have the center to do it. It all starts with Biotish, So Fumblerooski. But as we're going, I mean, there's going to be so much to talk about this offseason. We're going to talk about the drafts. We're talking about free agent. I'm ready to get into free agency to see what we need for the draft, because obviously draft talk is just speculation. We got to fill some holes. And again, I'm with you guys when I say that I don't want it to be all of our guys,
Yeah, until this team realizes that it's draft and adding some blue chip prospects. I understand every year we're not going to go out and get a number one free agent. I get it, but you need to pick and choose when you have to do it. What the Eagles did, I keep bringing it up, by making a deal for an A.J. Brown. That was a great pick. That was very good. That's what got you to the Super Bowl. Yeah. It's moves like that. So do you want to be do you want to play with the big boys, or do you want to roll the dice and try and hit it big instead of going out and saying, well, instead of drafting a guy, we know this guy is proven and can beat anything one-on-one, and you're going to double team Stephon Diggs? Well, then guess what? CeeDee Lamb's going to eat you up all day. He's eating you up with a double team. You imagine not doubling CeeDee? That just makes everybody else better. That's all I want, people. I want to supplement our draft.
What's going on, Samari, bro? It's been a while, man.
What up? Samuel Rowe, a.k.a. I haven't seen you around for a while.
Jack says the line will use a completely different blocking scheme under the new staff too. Yeah, and that's true. I mean, you got that more of that zone blocking, correct? You just you're opening up the hole, and whoever comes into that area, you start blocking. And you got some guys that we struggle. I think Tyler Smith. Brian, I know Brian's brought this up. Tyler Smith sometimes last year definitely struggled getting to that next level. That's when you see a guy like
I think he hit
Osiris
the wall,
Florence.
Phil.
You think so?
I think he hit the rookie wall. Yeah, I think he started off great, and then his feet weren't keeping up with his hands, and he started reaching, and it happens. I thought, all in all, it was a great year.
I
for
thought
him,
he had a
though.
great year, though. Yeah, too. But then that's where I got excited about an Osiris Florence kind of guy that he does. He struggles as well getting to that next level. He's more of he doesn't have the greatest athleticism. He's a big body. He's a big body.
Beast. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I could go on and on for hours about this stuff. I mean, talking Cowboys. But I mean, I'm just tired of those. I just want them to stop talking. I want to get excited about maybe possibilities. But again, they keep on getting us. We keep coming back to the same thing because it's the same frustration. It doesn't matter who talks within that front office. It's just not good. I want to hear some words coming from Charlotte. I want to hear what she has to say.
Yeah, right. Charlotte Jones, here we come.
Come on, save us, Charlotte. Like, seriously.
I want to hear about the Art Deco in the Star. That's what we're going to hear about. We're not going to hear about the players on the field.
That's what's probably the big news is. That's probably the big move is that they're going to change the toilets in the stadium.
It's a piece of art that's going to hang in a Star that's world renowned. So, no, I mean, we'll see, man. All I'll say is maybe they'll surprise us, right?
Yeah, maybe. I'm not going to hold my
I'm
breath.
hoping you're right.
Alana,
I'm hoping you're right.
Yeah, it's okay. We will be the next. Yeah, I definitely feel like it's a young team. It's a very young team. There's going to these pieces that we're talking about are unfortunately the guys that aren't as young with that core. Some of these guys going into their second contract, some of them into their third contract, and those are the ones that we were talking about with, do you move on? We know that you have to move on at some point, and you obviously don't want everybody in your team to be young and, unproven, but that's what we're also talking about, too, is as Cowboy Nation. We want a wide receiver that knows how to get open, that has shown what he can. So when you're giving that first or you're giving that second round, you know what you're getting with that second round. Because, other than Diggs, we haven't had the greatest luck when it comes to second round draft picks. So giving up a second round draft pick for a Hopkins, that's not unheard of because you know what kind of production you're getting with a guy like that. Of course, injuries, he's had his thing with injuries. But, again, he's not going to be the only weapon within that offense. So, I would love a move like that. So again, we're wishing and hoping and putting it on the wish list, but whether it happens, that's going to be a question. So anyways, anything else we want to talk about, Brian, before we go on? Because we've been here for about an hour and a half, and it doesn't feel like it felt like 15 minutes. I know the first 15 minutes I had internet problems, 30 minutes. So
nah, I think we're good, man. I'm gonna try and stream the offensive tackles tomorrow. I should be all ready to go, with my system going. But, I'm looking to see that. I'm looking for us to see who we're going to tag, who we're not going to tag. I'm ready for free agency. I'm excited about what's going to happen or not happen, Either way, we're going to talk about it, Phil.
Mm-hmm. Heck yeah. And there's a lot of, I think it doesn't matter what move they make, whether it's an amazing move that we're like, oh my God, we got Stephon Diggs. There's going to be a whole part of Cowboy Nation not happy about this move, and so I totally. It's again when you have a whole nation of fans under one thing. Of course you're going to have your different diverse sections that don't like certain moves. You're not happy about Dak being the franchise quarterback. Maybe they don't want to do this extension because they want to be able to get out of Dak's contract in 2 or so years. You and me, for example, we're all about it because guess what? Where are you going to go afterwards? You got very, very lucky with a guy like Dak dropping to you in the 4th round, and you did all your powers to not let that happen. So again, luck sometimes does come into play. You don't feel that way sometimes as a Cowboy fan, but we've got lucky sometimes with some of these guys. So again, Brian, I appreciate you you coming on and giving us your opinion and talking Cowboy news.
The meatloaf. Like we need some meatloaf.
But I think most of all, I appreciate you guys coming in through the chat, giving us this great feedback and this great information when we have our little brain farts and we can't think of the guy, and you guys are jumping right on it. It's just that's what it's all about, man. I love talking football in general, and it's just a great group to do it with. So again, Brian, I appreciate you coming out. I appreciate you guys watching on the replay, on the playbacks. If you could share it, I appreciate it. If you can hit the like button, I would even love that even more. But one thing I don't want you to forget is to what?
Always ring that bell.
Damn right, yeah. Hey!
each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and I thought that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
GameTime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here,
Cool name. Superpowers?
broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you gonna tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil, and of course my co-host, GameTime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.